Hello everyone, so this afternoon I'd like to share with you something that came up at the very end of a new retreat which I'm in the process of co-creating. First of all, I was my own spiritual midwife working on myself and been working with 3 other people since. On the most recent one there was a final insight which arose, which I feel has enough significance to share with you and make a film about. So it's called this: it's a zero-sum game. 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 So what am I talking about? Well, allow me to elucidate. I'll try and negotiate that particularly narrow stretch of road. So this is the way it was explained to me. Think about a human life, the life of one human being. And in that life there are times of suffering, times of delight and enjoyment, times of uplift, times of downpression, times of all sorts of different states of being. And the idea is that if you look at a human life, let's say you take a year out of someone's life, or a month, or even a day, then it might seem to be very, very unbalanced indeed. And it could be for that particular person, but all they've been through is they've just been through, oh my goodness me. And I'm now going to go through a bit of my goodness me with this situation here. So I can see a place I can pull in at, so I'm just going to pull in. Cyclist, fuck off, you moron. You get out of the way, cyclist. No sense whatsoever, brain dead. Not to worry, happens to the best of us. Right, so now that means that the lorry will be, it's got to wait for the cyclist of course as well, but never mind. Right, now the lorry can get out. God. Well, this is all absolutely wonderful. Right, that was great. I enjoyed all that. So, when you take a small unit of time, it could appear that that person's life, that human's life, is very, very much out of balance. However, my point is, the greater the sample size in terms of time, the closer it gets towards balance, until when you add the whole thing up, you reach a state of balance. And because the most popular TV show at the moment in the UK is called Sandman, which is arguably one of the best graphic novels that's ever been brought into the mainstream through the use of the little box that people sit and watch, or the screen. Well, there's a couple of examples in there, and one of them was, what about the baby that only lives a few hours or a few days, and then death comes along and takes that one away back to the source? Surely that can't be right. Where's the balance there? There isn't any, is there? Well, actually I'd argue that even in those circumstances there's a balance, and that can only be properly understood by looking at the big picture. And we can get more understanding of this if we realise that when I talk about a human life, I'm not necessarily talking about one lifetime, it even goes beyond. So you do get situations where a baby has a short, brief, horrific life, and having said all that, we don't know how many moments of bliss and delight there might be in the moments that the adults are not watching. But the point that I'm getting at is that some do get incarnated to have a very brief life because they've done almost everything in the one before. So sometimes they're literally just doing the last little bits of completion to create that zero-sum game. So I find this an incredibly comforting concept, because there are people who've chosen to be jabbed, there's people who've chosen not to be jabbed, there's people who chose to get into great drama about those who have and those who haven't, people very relaxed about it, people absolutely determined to continue this human journey, come what may. There are people just waiting to cop out. And the thing is, it's all absolutely just exactly right when you realise that it's a zero-sum game. It's a zero-sum game. It really is a zero-sum game. So there's no need to be jealous or envious of anybody else's experiences. No need to be in horrific judgment about other people, what they're doing or not doing, because it all comes down to fat zero. So all the positive and all the negative that's ever been done by the person in their entire life, looked at it in the bigger sense, all adds up to zero. And that's actually what makes our lives so magical and so special and so extraordinary. The fact that this is actually how things are. We all get our own individual experiences, our own particular sufferings and joys are going to be quite different from other people's, but add them all up together and they create a wonderful sense of balance, which reminds us of mythology and someone at the end of their life and putting the person on the scales and all that kind of stuff. I think that's Egyptian. So I thought I'd leave that one with you. How about playing with the idea that all human life, all life really, is a zero-sum game? And the sign says thank you as I pass. That's very fun.